Good morning, November 720 Sierra. This is Steve. It is January 21st here in League City, Texas, just south of Houston, in between Houston and Galveston. And there's the garage where the airplane is sitting behind there. And as you can see, it is snowing here. So my friends in Chicago, Greg V and Fanboy up in NorCal, and let's see, Greg Garrett out in Colorado are laughing at us down here. But you know, this is we actually got snow, and so the garage, as you can see, there's actually snow on the roof. I've not opened up the garage, but obviously no snow in there, but it's kind of funny. I just thought I'd show you guys this for a quick little video. And anyway, there you go. It's snowing down here, so no work on the airplane at the moment, although I do have some parts behind me in the house that I can work on, so I'll be working on that later, but off to work here in a minute. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you guys that actually snowing down here. Of course, you guys that I mentioned earlier won't really think this is much of a snowstorm, but you know, it is for us. So I thought I'd video this just for the fun of it. All right, good afternoon, November 720 Sierra. I just got through putting this back tray on this mechanism to seal it in completely. So this seat is completely done as far as the mechanism in here, and it works fine, as you can see. Now I have not dimpled or countersunk these ones out here and riveted those yet to there, but I have finished all of these here and all of these here. So I was struggling through this one to get it to work. So let me pull the other one up here and I will show you how I did it. A couple of tricks that I've learned while I was doing this. And if you've got a tool like this, if you have a big thing like this, now you can use a pair of lineman pliers, but if you have something like this, it will be helpful. So I'll show you how I did that in a minute here. With the other one, because it's not done yet. But basically, that under ridge that goes up underneath all of this, you've got to bend it out slightly to give it an angle to go in at. And then I started here, over here, and then I got it under, and then I just brought it across all the way until I got it up to where these bolts come through. And I put the bolts on, tightened them, and then I went back and aligned with Clecos all of these spots. And the middle one here is the hardest one to get aligned up. But the four here that hold that middle one, get it in alignment. You just have to get it aligned. And I did have to use my awl to wiggle the pieces of metal around to get them to align, and once they did, I could get the Cleco in. Once that was done, everything was fine. So I'll show you that in a minute. Let me turn this off and get myself a glass of water, because this headlight is hot, and it's hot in here. Anyway, but that part's done. I'm still waiting on Sling to send me one screw that I need to put into this piece. I got 3 of the 4, but not the fourth one. So I can almost put these seats together. The back seat you've already seen me do. This is the last section of the front seat, except for upholstery, obviously. Now the back seats, we are going to have them powder coated. And I found a guy here locally. He's supposed to bring over some color swatches sometime next week when he gets them in. And then of course he'll have to order the powder if he doesn't have it in, and then powder coat them for us, just the back seats. That's it. Let me turn this off, and then I'll bring the other one up here, and I'll show you what I did to get all of this down. Okay, one of the other things I wanted to mention before I start into this one, is one of the things that I did on both of them, right, is I clecoed everything down. I riveted what I could. Initially, the ones on this side of the line have all been riveted to hold them in place. I tightened up the 3 bolts, put rivets in, clecos in as appropriate, and everything that had a channel that could possibly move, I went ahead and clecoed in. So, and I left it tight, and I left it for about a week, sitting like this, because I wanted it to just kind of sit there in its own little spot, before I attempted this part of it. Because if I felt like, and maybe it's not true, but I felt like if I'd tried to do this the same day, then a lot of these parts would have moved. And I didn't want that, because I knew that these had to be very precise, and getting these placed into their spots. So I left it all really, really tight for about a week or so, and hopefully these things don't move too much. Now, in the last one that I just finished, a couple of these little 3 things here and these little 3 things here moved a tiny bit, but I could get my little awl down in there and get it to line up. And once I lined up one over here, then the other one came into place, and so I could throw another cleco in it. So you've got all these clecos that I've got to take out now in order to put these in. Let's see, I don't take any of those out. Yeah, I do actually. There's a couple of those that have to come out. But one of the things that I noticed, I needed to put a little bit of an down angle edge on this piece here, and so that I could get it underneath, because you see when you're now, even with this, right, I don't have the clecos out, but the bolts are here, right, and the bolts stick up a little bit, so you can't quite go at this angle, because then this is lifted up a tiny bit. So what I found is I took my big piece of metal thing here, and I used it to bend this down just a tiny bit, okay, and that helped to be able to get it with the right angle. I'll put just a little bit of angle onto this piece so I can get it up underneath there while getting the top plate over top of the bolts. So if you've got one of these, it's probably a good thing to do. That's what I found was helpful. So I'm doing it to this one too, and I'm showing you because, of course, nobody told me. So I just found it helpful. Put a little bit of an angle on it. Of course, once you get it in there and tight, it's going to take the angle out, so, which is fine. That's what you want it to do. So that's what I did. So just a tiny bit. I know we're not really supposed to bend these, but sometimes you gotta make it work. And so yeah, if you put a little bit of an angle on it, then when it slides in, it's not so bad trying to get it to go up underneath there. Okay, so I got that sitting there. I'm gonna take those off, a couple on the other side that are in the wrong spots, and then I'll slide that up and I'll put that on video in a minute here. But let me prep this area. Okay, so as you see, I already saw that I put a little bit of angle on that, so I'm working it up underneath here, and trying to get all this aligned. Now, one of the other things I found is that as you're working this in, sometimes you have to reach in here, kind of lift this up, so let's get it, there we go, okay, and then you got to get these last 3 up a tiny bit. Okay, got the first one. Last two are just getting to be a pain. What else is new? Anyway. Alright, so that's under 3. Now, okay. So now you just got to slowly work this thing forward. What I found is this nut got to go in first, because it's the first one. So once that's down in this place, the rest of it kind of falls into place. So if you can start pulling these things forward, and getting them into place. Once I can get one cleco in, and I can start. There we go. But the other thing is it falls out a little bit. I tried to put some tape on here to hold it, but it doesn't really do a great job trying to hold it, so still got to get that up through there. And I've lost a piece underneath. Oh, damn it. Lost that tab. So I've got to line it up with that tab underneath first. That's the hard part. And that's the really difficult part here. So like I said, this is the most important one and the hardest one to get. It tends to get out of the whack. Okay, so take this all back out. Take the whole thing out. And got to get that back into this tab here. There. That's the hard one right there. Once you can get that one, and it's just tough to hold. I tried putting a piece of tape on it, but it's just not enough to try to do that. Alright, so now you can see this is basically on. Now we just have to start lining up everything. And a ton of clecos. Basically cleco every single hole, or just about every single hole. And you will need, where'd it go? There we go. To get some of these. And I got some here. Alright, so that's got most of these in place, and you can check your pull on this. Not quite as far as I thought it would be, but as far as it goes. Okay, well, let's see. We've got to get these to line up on this side now. Go. Okay, so now everything's in alignment again, pretty much. You get your bolts loosed a little bit, but they're on here. You can go back and tighten them up in a little bit once you get all these down. But the rest of this is just riveting these pieces in. You don't need to watch me rivet, but that's how I got that all together. So I did have to put that little bend in there and get it up underneath. And that's what I found works for me. Alright. So, alright. So I'm just going to start riveting some of these things. But and there's a lot to be clear drilled. A lot of these do have to be clear drilled. Unfortunately. So, not all of them, but some of them. I guess you can watch me clear drill a little bit. And wipe off some metal shavings, and then start putting the rivets in. That's stuff giving me problems. There we go. Some of them fit in nicely, and some of them don't. And sometimes you have to clear drill them a little bit more. Sometimes you just take a different rivet and it works perfectly fine. And sometimes not. And that's basically all there is to it. From here, it's just riveting like you've been doing all along, or like I've been doing all along, and just going for it. And eventually, all of these will get riveted, and we'll have the seat completely done, except for upholstery. Alright, well, I'm not going to bore you with watching me take out clecos and put in rivets, but that's basically it. But that's how I wanted to show you how I got this to fit in here and get these nuts and everything on and get it all lined up. Alright, good luck with your seats, and I'll finish this one. I've already done the other one, and I'm basically done with the seats, except for out here I have to do some countersinking, but I'm waiting for some parts from Sling, so I'm not in any rush to do that right this second. Alright, thanks guys. November 720 Sierra, and please like and subscribe, and hopefully you found some things useful on here when you're building, whether you're building a Sling or an RV. Or RV's a little bit different, but the RV12's not that much different. The RV10s are different because they use a different type of riveting altogether. They use bucking rivets instead of pulled rivets. The RV12 uses pulled rivets, so it's just like this one. Alright, thanks guys. Talk to you later.